Are we good? Can you hear me?
No.
No.
Is that on?
Yes.
Now it should be.
Let's see. Are we hot yet? Nope. All right. Well, I'm going to speak as loud as I can.
We can hear
How's
you.
that? You can hear me back there? All right. Well, for those online, they're going to use the microphone on the camera. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes.
All right. So I will continue to hold this mic until it gets worked out. As a prop. This is like a prop.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living. My name is Theo Tilton. I'm a licensed practitioner, and all of you, I think all of you know who I am. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We invite you. Oh, Bashi, look at that. So excited to see some familiar faces, right? So many of us haven't been here in such a while. And we just want to make a little announcement that the doors are open. And we're going to be rearranging and creating even more space so that more and more people can attend. So those of you who are watching online and you are used to coming into the center, come in. It'll be awesome to see you. And as you can see, I'm not wearing a mask, and there's a few of us that are wearing masks. So if you're comfortable and you want to take it off, it is mask optional. So we are now following the new guidelines that allow us to take off the mask. Awesome. Well, let's hear for Steve Tersicano here. He's our musical guest today, and he has 2 CDs that are available for sale for those of you who are here, and I'm sure it's available online too, right? It's also available online, and it's with his band Dream Alchemy, so you can just look that up and find his music. It's really fantastic. Thank you for being here. All right, so again, for those of you who are joining us online, if you're on Facebook or YouTube or whatever method, you can use those little icons, little smiley face, little thumbs up. You can use the comment and share. And we're going to switch out this microphone for new batteries. All right. It's great to just be in the flow and like as things are happening and you don't really know what's going to happen next. So like I was saying, use the comment. There's people who are monitoring the comments and they can comment back and you can have a live interaction online. And for those of you that are here, do not chat amongst yourselves while we're talking. Yeah. There'll be a time for that. There'll be a time for that. And so today's topic is going to really be about our holding our highest vision, and Reverend Frankie is going to be diving into that. And before that, I'm going to be doing a guided process, and I'm going to open us up with a treatment to kick off today's service. Before that, I want to invite you, if you were inspired by anything that you hear today, the words that we share with each other, you might be moved to give back. And so there are plenty of ways, and one of the coolest ways that have been introduced to the center, that are using by the center, is text to give. You can use your cell phone to text and give. And what you do is you text to give at the number 973-834-6840. And when you start doing that, you'll have a little link that gets sent to you. It'll say, hey, set up an account and send us your information. And you can say, send $5, send $50, whatever you'd like. And it's just like a fun gaming type of way to interact and give. I just saw Reverend Frankie on the side here, and she was totally like, give. Yes. And you could also just visit our website at cslmorristown.org/give, and that's another way for you to help support this center and this community. Well, so right here, right now, I'm going to talk about something. And before we jump into this idea of vision today, and I'm going to go through a vision process with all of you, I think it's appropriate to talk about what's happening before the vision. And so this morning, I completely altered my talk. I was just going to do a process, and then I realized, well, wait, what's the background of doing that process? Well, the background of everything, we say God is everything. Universal energy is everything. There's a power and there's a force that fills all of life, right? It's part of this teaching of The Science of Mind written by Ernest Holmes. And it's like the foundation, it's the root of everything that we believe in this teaching. It's that God is all there is. Love is all there is. Power is all that there is. Energy is all that there is. Well, what is energy? Well, using the handy-dandy Webster's Dictionary, right, I extracted out some stuff around the definitions of the following words: energy, potential power, and force. Energy is the capacity for vigorous activity, calling upon and using available potential power. Now think about that in the context of this teaching. What is potential power? The ability to do or act, capabilities of doing or accomplishing something with a purpose in a set direction or path. The ability to unleash unknown forces. Well, what is force? Power or strength, get this one, power or strength possessed by a being to compel, command, create, generate, or constrain, oblige, destroy oneself or someone or something to push into action. So the secret here, today our talk is about vision. And vision is part of that potential power formula where it talks about specific purpose in a specific direction with a specific path. Vision is a path. You're providing a map. We got sound. We're providing a pathway. Remember, energy, capacity for vigorous activity, calling upon and using available potential power. And potential power, accomplishing something with purpose in a set direction or path, calling upon unknown forces. So this leads me into our guided meditation. Let's all close our eyes. And just for right now, give yourself permission. Just simply let everything go. And just be here. Anything that's going on in life, around you, personally, interpersonally, family, friends, just let that drop for just a brief moment. And notice your body. Notice your feet on the ground. Notice your butt in the chair. Notice your ears listening to this voice. Notice your skin, your fingers and your toes, and the top of your head. Now, notice what it was like to drive here. Go back into the car. And you arrived. Now notice, without opening your eyes, notice the ceiling. Notice the floor. Notice the trees outside. Notice the birds.
I assert that you did not see the word T-R-E-E or B-I-R-D or C-A-R. You saw a picture. You saw an image. And now I want you to think the power and image of a life just by answering this simple question. What would you love? Just being here now in the present moment, in the breath. What would you love in your health and well-being? What would you love in interpersonal relationships, friendships, family? What would you love in the area of your career or your vocation or what you're up to in this world? What would you love? What does it look like? What does it feel like? If there's a taste, what does it taste like? If there's an aroma, what does it smell like? Bring in all of your senses into that picture of your life that you love. Now I want you to see a door. I invite you to see this door. It's got a nice, pretty handle on it. And we're not going to open the door. On the other side of this door is the life that you have known. Everything up until now. All of life experiences. All of the way things are and were. And you're on this side of the door with the picture of the vision of your life that you love. You can hear, through the door, you can hear another version of yourself on the other side. What would you share with that person? What would you share with yourself? Whispering through the door. I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And when I hit 1, I'm going to snap my fingers. And then you are going to be back on the other side of the door. 3, 2, 1. What did that future self, that visionary self, the love, the life, the health, the well-being that you would love to have, what did that person share with you? You're about to put your hand on the doorknob, and take a step through that threshold, but it requires a step. It requires an action. It requires a doingness. It requires that the energy which is able to take the activity, it requires the potential power, which is the vision that you just created. That force, that life force that is within you is ready to live that life. Notice what you're noticing. Is there anything in the way? Is there something that's not in alignment with that image that you've just created? And I have one question. What's one thing What's one thing that you could do? Not a how-to or how to build this future and try to figure it all out like some masterpiece, but like just one thing that would bring you back into alignment. And when you know what that one thing is, just know that taking that action is just like turning the knob on the door and opening up that future you. And let's bring ourselves back into the room and anchor this with an opening spiritual mind treatment, our word for affirmative prayer. Right here, right now, in this moment, there is nothing but life. There is nothing but power. There is nothing but energy. The life force itself, living its life through us as us. I know that the I am of the I am, I speak this I am for this entire community. And we hear this I amness for ourselves. I am powerful. I am energy. I am life force itself. And this community, Centers for Spiritual Living in Morristown, is that life force itself as a community, holding a vision for itself, knowing that there's a living, loving law that always says yes, that provides the how-to, and all we do is take a step, one step at a time, opening up that doorway into that visionary future that we've created for ourselves. And I know that today's words being spoken by Reverend Frankie will be beautiful, eloquent, magical, and inspiring. And we release this now. Surrender it, let it go and let God, knowing it's already done. In gratitude, I say thank you. And so it is. Back to you, Steve.
So this next song I wrote for today, it's brand new. It's for the 4th of July in our country. It's where we are now, so I'll give this a shot. I do need a favor though, so I want everyone to think of their favorite state. Just a place you've been, that you loved. I'm going to call upon that at some point in the song. So just think of a state, okay? Let go of that white-knuckle grip. You think if you let your guard down, maybe life might slip. But there's so much in this world we can't control. So say your prayers and roll, roll, roll. Learn to live with contradiction. To think life is anything else is pure fiction. People say that they are this, but they do that. That's a fact. I love my country. Takes a beat. It's kind of a you and me. I love my country. Takes a beat.
get to play it more than once today. All right. Things in the way here. Thank you so much, Theo. That was beautiful. So I want to read a poem to you, one you're all familiar with. It's usually sung. I won't sing. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruity plain. America, America. God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brother and sisterhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom beats across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all successes be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brother and sisterhood from sea to shining sea. I love this country, and as some of you know, I've only been here 2/3 of my life. Born and raised in the Netherlands, I came here and never became a citizen. I have many reasons, which I won't bore you with today. But I'm deeply committed to be of service in this country. And I've done my part and continue to do my part. Because there's so many things I love about this land, the pioneer spirit, the creativity that has no bounds, the realm of infinite possibility for anyone and everyone. I'm a legal alien. That's my title. I'm a legal alien. But one of the reasons why I never became a citizen is because I don't belong anywhere, and I belong everywhere. I truly feel, after all the travels that I've experienced, there we go, after all the travels I experienced, that I've become a global citizen. I could live anywhere and be happy, because it's not about my environment. It's not about the politics of the land. It's not even about the culture. It's just that I love all of this world and think of myself as a global inhabitant. And I have a different perspective because of that. Because I wasn't born and raised here and always lived here, I've always had a different perspective. Some of it by the culture I was raised in, some of it by the land where I was born and grew up, and some of it by all the other places that I have visited. This voice is not always welcome. I'm very aware of that. Sometimes I get crap for what I say, or disappointment, or judgment, or unhappiness, and sometimes I get great cheers, and everything in between. So it really just depends, right, on what we hear rather than what is being said. And so I always welcome the conversations. I always welcome the feedback. I always welcome people's honest opinions, even about my opinions. And so it's really just the beauty of what this country is about, right? Is about the voice of diversity. And so this country's beginnings was all about a really high vision. And I'm not sure if everybody really understands that the idea of a vision is that it's always bigger than you think you can get to. It's always bigger than you. It's always like you can't seem to quite get there. But the vision is so important and so powerful because, like Theo was saying, it's the pathway to greater expression. And so that high vision is something I truly embrace and am passionate about. Because it's the vision of infinite possibility. I don't think any country, land holds that vision as much as this country and as passionately as this country does. It's one of the reasons why I'm still here, because I think it's so essential to the American spirit. And so we have the Charters of Freedom, where we have the Declaration of Independence, which is really about the ideals of who we are and who we are becoming. And it was established that way as a way to separate from Great Britain. Then there's the Constitution, which created the framework of the federal government of the United States. And then we have the Bill of Rights, which really is about our rights as citizens under our government. And this is all 2¼ centuries old. It's old. It's in that we distill the vision, remember the vision is always bigger than we are, of freedom, which is what I got when you did your visioning. Freedom. And so I get so excited because I have to tell you that my past vision for myself is being updated because emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, I feel better and more grounded than I ever have in my life. Physically, I will catch up. I know that. I have no doubt about that. And I realize that the spiritual, mental, emotional foundation is really the most important. And so the vision is about freedom and justice and respect and stewardship, which is all over these charters of freedom. It's about equality. It's about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone. Not just some, but everyone. And this is where we have not done so well. And when people start to argue with me about that, I'm like, bring it on. Because there's lots of proof. And isn't it interesting that COVID brought all that to the surface so that we had to look at it and we had to deal with it, and we're looking at it and we're dealing with it. And it's freaking uncomfortable for me as well, because it's stirring everything up. We have to look at how we discriminate, whether it's race, culture, ethnicity, gender, sex, age, abilities, disabilities, other abilities. And so how about if all those differences are really the gifts that we are being given, so that we can once again stand in the truth of the greater vision and be the difference. Because we are here to actualize and expand this great vision that was created and founded all these centuries ago. When we have that early vision in our mind, we can say, well, what is my part in this now as a citizen? Not literally necessarily, but as a participant, as somebody who's here. And so that's evolution, because evolution is ongoing. It doesn't end. We won't get to a place where we say, oh, we've arrived, we're done, we're good now. And so that's where the vision of Centers for Spiritual Living comes in. Because we have as a vision, the simple vision is creating a world that works for everyone. Creating a world that works for everyone. But there is a lot of text that goes underneath that, and some of it is this. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his and her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home and a sense of belonging, a world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice. That asks us to be more conscious consumers. Do you know that you can save a life with the food you throw away at your house? Just little things that we must be conscious of, not as a way to shame, punish, judge, but as a way for us to become more conscious in our consuming. We are so privileged in this country. I'm embarrassed with how much recycling I have because everything is packaged, right? And so I ask myself, how can I be a more conscious consumer so I have less of that? Simple little things, right? And so we're asked to be conscious co-creators. And because the vision of our nation and the vision of CSL come together so beautifully, I know it's possible. But I know that I have to do my part. We each do. And so, how far have we come in realizing that vision? Far. How far do we have yet to go? Far, far, far. And so, it's sometimes painful to look at where we are not yet at when it comes to a world that works for everyone. It can be overwhelming. But that's where we are invited to just do our inner work and do our visioning and do our part, even if it's just a grain of sand, the size of a grain of sand on a beach, it's enough. And so that means that we have to start here and now, right? It's not some tomorrow when I feel better, or some tomorrow when I have a job, or some tomorrow when I have the perfect right relationship, or whatever. It's right now. And it's inner and outer. It's I and it's we. It has been said that Malcolm X, but we're not sure if that's really who said it, but it's attributed to Malcolm X, who said that when I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. When I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. So the one thing about this country is that we're very much focused on I. We have a big ego as a land, right? We're very individualized. We have our own thoughts, our own ideas, our own opinions. And this teaching, Science of Mind teaching, kind of emphasizes that. So that's what's shifting in the culture of our organization, where we are saying, oh, so because we say there's only the one, because as within, so without, and because you and I, you are reflections of me and I'm a reflection of you, we look at this idea of life as a reflection of our own consciousness, it behooves us to think in terms of we, together, not just me, my, which is kind of what happened, right, before COVID hit. We became so self-absorbed and so self-focused that something had to give. We had to see what was happening all over the world. And so that's because it means that we have to notice where we live when we go through our day. And I love using the 4 kingdoms of consciousness that comes out of the work of from sacreddays.org, Maria Nemeth and Lloyd Strom. The 4 kingdoms of consciousness, yes, he also talks about it in visioning, but it talks about how the first kingdom is the kingdom of slow creation. And that's when we're in this place of feeling like a victim, which sometimes is unconscious, right? Where we feel like, oh, poor me, and blame others for my situation or outer for my situation and I'm asleep, right? It's more fear-based. And then we have to notice when we're in the second kingdom, which is the kingdom of solo creation, which is often when we first wake up to our own spiritual nature and we go, oh, there's more to life than this misery or this stuff or this back and forth or this realm of duality. And that's where we start to take dominion. And then we have to notice when we're in the third kingdom of consciousness, which is the kingdom of co-creation, where our intuition begins to inform us, and we begin to realize that everything is connected, that separation doesn't really exist. And then the fourth kingdom is the kingdom of all creation. So we move from things happen to me, to things happen by me, to things happen through me, to things happen as me, being in the awareness of the oneness of all life. So our question is, and how do I serve? It's my question every morning when I wake up, my spiritual practice. How may I serve? What is mine to do today? It's actually not just happening first thing in the morning. It happens throughout the day. Even when I'm shopping at a grocery store, that might be the question. Is there a moment of service? I've made some really amazing connections with the staff at the hospital where I'm getting my health care at the moment. And it's such a blessing and it's such a gift to leave little snippets of truth without them even knowing you're doing it. I know you've done that. It's really fun, right? And so the question is, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Let me ask it in a different way. What do you argue with people about? What is your biggest complaint? What is your strongest opinion? That's one way through the back door to what you're passionate about. You just move it from a victim state to a victory state. It's something bigger. It's something that you're passionate about in the world. It might even be something that brings you to tears when you hear about it. I know some of you can't watch the news because it's too painful. There's gold there. There's gold there, which is part of our healing. Because when we have pain in our hearts about something, it means something wants to be healed and we want to be more free. And so we have something to contribute, even if it means that you treat 10 times a day for those people that are involved in that. Because healing works both ways, right? We used to think, well, I have to get healed and then I'll be a healing presence in the world. No, it's at the same time. It's not both at the same time. And so look at where you need to do some forgiveness work. Because if you can't forgive someone in your past, you are not a healing presence in the world. One of the things that came to me when Theo did his thing was that the freedom that was right on this side of the door, I just have to claim it. There's nothing else to do. Nothing. Just claim it. That's simple. Oh my God, I could have had a VA. Or whatever the organic equivalent is. So something you need to let go of. You have some lies that you're holding on to. Some lies about lack. Some lies about there isn't enough. That's a big lie that you and I keep telling ourselves, that there isn't enough. That's a block to being a healing presence in the world, right? Or maybe it's, I'm all alone in the world. I always think, how is that possible on a planet of almost 8 billion people, that somebody feels alone or lonely? I don't understand it. I really try to understand, but I really don't. How is it possible that somebody can feel alone or lonely? It just means that they're not willing to be a healing presence in the world. Go work in a soup kitchen. I'll fix that real fast. in a world of diversity, I am so excited to live in a world where there's so much to see and learn and do and know and people to talk to and people to connect with. It's such a gift. And so then it's the me, my, that makes us be unconscious consumers. And that makes us be responsible for the ecocide that we are doing to this planet, each of us. That doesn't mean we can go back to year 0 or year 100 or year 1000 when there wasn't as much pollution, there weren't cars. But it still means that I can do something to love my planet that I live on, even if it is to pray for her, because she needs our prayers. And so what is ours to do as a community, as a center? You are all students of the science of mind. Some of you are practitioners, and I don't mean licensed practitioners. I mean you practice the teaching, especially when things get tough. We don't have a project as a community, and it may be one of our failings. But the beauty is that there's now an organization called NJ Together, and there's now an organization that's a sub of that called Morris Together that is doing amazing work in our community. And you can jump right in. If you're passionate about housing in the Morris area, there is a place for you to jump in and be a part of. If you're passionate about mental health, you can jump right in and volunteer. I'm in the criminal justice section of the organization. If you want to know more about that or you want to get involved, there's room for you to be sharing your beautiful consciousness, your spiritual awareness, your learning, your growth, your healing in the community where we meet, where we live, to actualize and expand our vision for our country, our world. So locally, you can just take a little bite. Just take a little bite, take a first bite. Maybe it changes. Maybe it reveals something new. Because our responsibility as spiritual beings, as aware spiritual beings, is to be a good steward. And I know you know that. I'm preaching to the choir. We know that, right? Everything I say every Sunday, you already know. I wonder sometimes why I stand up here and say what I say. Because there's nothing new. You already know. We just remind each other. I remind myself, and I remind you. I want to close with a little phrase from today's Science of Mind magazine, which I have available if anybody wants to purchase it for July. And this is a quote that was in today from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Freedom is not the right to live as we please. Freedom is not the right to live as we please, but the right to find how we ought to live in order to fulfill our potential. But the right to find how we ought to live in order to fulfill our potential. Good old Ralph Waldo Emerson. All right, that's what I get to chat about, and I just want to let you know before I do the closing treatment that masks are now optional. If you want to wear a mask, you can, you don't have to. So we're kind of back to being together in a way that is mandated by the state or suggested by the state. So I'm happy to see you all here and to see your beautiful lips and teeth and mouth and smiles. We are going to be sending some emails out because now that we're back, we would love for you to serve here at our center. One of the things that we need is somebody to help Michael with IT. So go talk to him if you'd like to help out, especially on Sundays. We have our website. We would love for you to, anybody who's like into websites and wants to keep it up to date, we could use some volunteers for that. We want to start social hour again. But social hour happens by means of you. So if somebody says, hey, I'll be in charge of it, or two people that want to make it happen, let us know. We will start having social hour again. Next week we have a pizza party, so come for the pizza party. We have some events that are coming up. One of them is I created my own prosperity program called Flourishing, and it's 5 weeks. It's based on the book by Deepak Chopra called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. He would have liked to have called them the 7 Spiritual Laws of Life, which I like better myself. So that's happening through CSL Greater Philadelphia online, but you must register for it. Michael is doing his chakra series with the heart chakra on July 26th. The next day, we can join Steve with Kundalini Yoga. I'll be there. He's a great Kundalini Yoga teacher, and his class is so much fun. Maybe we'll have it in-house. Let's talk. And then the last weekend of July into the 1st of August, we have a whole weekend with Shannon Plummer and with Bob Sima. It's a concert on Friday night, live here. It's a workshop on Saturday, and they're doing a celebration on Sunday, and they are not to be missed. They're two really amazing people, and they will truly touch your heart and transform your life. I mean, they're amazing. So let's close with a healing treatment. So as we close our eyes and we draw our attention from the outer world and bring it to the inner world, there is this moment of breath, this moment of peace, this moment of turning to our heart of hearts, where we no longer identify with our humanness in the same way, where we feel a different connection. It's the connection to our divine nature that ever is within, ever is available, ever is accessible, ever is serving us, never goes missing. And it is this beautiful connection that we are here to live, each of us in our own unique, individualized way. It is rich beyond measure. It is so rich that we don't need to put any attention on what appears not to be working or not to be working good enough. We just bring our attention to the rich glory of our being that is ever expressing itself, and savor it and embrace it and remember it and find ways to be inspired by it. And then everything that is temporary falls away. If it doesn't, it's just there to teach us something. And infuses us with whatever it is that we need to take the next step in life. To just be. To be filled with gratitude for so many gifts. And to be in awe by life itself. I am so grateful to know this is the truth, to remind myself, to know that that's the foundation of our consciousness. Always was, always will be, is right here and right now. And so this word spoken is spoken into the universal law, which only knows to manifest. And I know it manifests this word in the divine right way for each of us, right here and right now. And so it is. Have a beautiful day. Happy 4th of July. So glad to see you. And thank you, Steve, for your wonderful music. Michael, for your always gracious service. And Theo, you're awe-inspiring. Thank you. Blessed be.
was talking about being a conscious consumer and just knowing what you need, knowing what to consume. I like to think this song is a little bit about that, about how to live very simply, and just kind of being content with that. Rubber Genie's lamp. Find some four-leaf clover. I don't need to wish upon a star. I don't need to stumble upon a heads-up penny. Corner some man for his last fortune cookie. I don't need to wish upon a star. I found my dream girl, and I'm driving my I'll tell you all about her. She's a charcoal gray Honda Civic. She gets pretty good gas mileage. I drive her an automatic. I don't need to wish upon a star. There's so not even far away, and my buddy lives up the block. I don't need to wish upon a star. I'm hanging with all you lovely people. It's usually in a bar, but it's here. I don't need to wish upon a star. I'm with all you lovely people. This good old and old life is true. When we're having you. I don't need to wish upon a star. I got a rocking beach chair in the middle of my living room, and it really completes the decor. I don't need to wish upon a star, 'cause I got friends who love me, protect me and hug me. Good old when more having you. Life is good. Friends aren't made up inside those stars. They are rescue missions during hurricanes for cats. And love isn't found on the interwebs. It's girls with mama hats. Blah, blah, blah. Neighbors will lose, and they always have your back. They're never gonna tell the cops where life is good. Wherever you Thank you, Gino and Michael, everybody. Great to see you, boys.